Dark corridors. Sable worked in the accounting department of a large company. As the days passed, her workload increased and the overtime stretched on. One evening, while she was the last to leave the office, the unsettling silence weighed heavily on her. Outside, rain poured down, and the wind pounded against the window panes, amplifying her anxiety. While she was packing her last files, a new email popped up on her computer screen. The sender's name was unfamiliar. First aid training. Curiosity piqued, she opened it to find only a message that read, "Be careful. Everything is not as it seems." A mix of fear and intrigue swirled within her, but she soon dismissed it as nonsense. As she opened the office door to leave, she caught a fleeting shadow out of the corner of her eye. Her heart raced as she turned around, but there was no one there. She quickened her pace to get outside. The rain continued to pour, soaking the streets. While waiting for a taxi, the silhouette of an old abandoned hospital caught her attention. It had been out of use for years, its reputation shrouded in local legends. The next day, a suggestion arose among her coworkers to explore the hospital. Overcome by curiosity, Sable agreed to join the adventure. After work, they gathered and headed to the hospital. As they pushed open the heavy door, the creaking echoed in the silence. Everything inside was dusty and dark. Only their footsteps broke the stillness. As they walked down the corridor, Sable began to feel an eerie sensation. A faded painting on the wall caught her eye. It depicted a woman whose face had deteriorated over time, yet her eyes glowed ominously. While her colleagues ventured into different rooms, Sable felt increasingly isolated. A growing unease settled in her chest. Suddenly, a scream pierced the air. Sable rushed toward the sound and found her friends gathered at a door. One of them had pushed it open. Inside, a bed occupied the center of the room, and on it lay a figure shrouded in shadows. Her colleagues stood back, shocked and terrified. As Sable hesitated to step inside, the figure suddenly turned its head. Their eyes locked, and Sable's fear escalated into sheer horror. The face was reminiscent of an elderly woman, yet it appeared grotesquely decayed. "What are you doing here?" the figure whispered, her voice low and threatening. "You must turn back. I'm not of this time." Gathering all her courage, Sable took a step back, but behind her, the door slammed shut. Panic surged within her. Her friends tried to reach her, but the air in the room thickened. Darkness engulfed them. "You must get out!" Sable screamed, but her voice felt unheard, swallowed by the shadows. She strained to see through the darkening haze as the hospital's hidden secrets began to consume them. Her friends, frantically trying to open the door, heard another whisper. "This place is not for you. You belong here." Finally, the door swung open, and Sable bolted outside. She and her friends fled the hospital. The rain still fell, and the wind howled. But inside her, the question lingered. Was what they experienced real, or just a nightmare? As they escaped, they heard a final voice echoing behind them. "You must return. I'm not of this time." That voice would remain in Sabelle's mind as an unsettling secret. In that moment, the darkness they left behind felt like it would never truly release its grip on her. That day, she learned the dangers of chasing after secrets and shadows. When Sable got home, she felt a heavy weight in her heart. That night, she couldn't shake off the horror she had experienced. Whenever she closed her eyes, the whispering voices from the hospital echoed in her ears. The dark corridors would forever remain a haunting memory in her mind.